So, Super Sentai is canceled. Now, I worried about this problem all the way back after RPM. The reason why this happened isn't just from one problem. Some of it's from Hasbro, some of it's from Sentai, some of it's from Bandai, plus exterior world problems. Super Sentai is expensive to produce, even when it looks cheesy. From traveling around Japan, special effects, practical effects, monster suits, you name it. So it relies heavily on toy sales. That's not bad, unless you get greedy. When Power Rangers came into the equation, a whole bunch of money fell into Toei's lap. How it works, Toei licensed the Sentai footage to Saban. They could do whatever they want with it, but they have to release the toy line, they have to use monsters. There's probably other quotas and requirements in the contracts. They have separate fees for the movie and team-up specials. This was a big issue when they did the Lightspeed Lost Galaxy team-up. This allowed them to sell the toys to way more markets. It easily quadrupled their income, and you could see it improve the show. Look at Ranger before Saban started PR, then look at O-Ranger. Bandai is also a part of this equation. They help pay for the show too. So when Disney canceled PR, they lost almost everything. They don't get the licensing fees from the Sentai footage. The toy line doesn't go to the US, the UK, and other places. The only thing they had was them using the Power Rangers name in other Asian areas where they dubbed Super Sentai. This is why the reversioning of mmpr was done. Bandai needed to sell something in 2010. Come 2011, Saban brought the show back. But it wasn't doing great. 7 out of the 8 seasons sucked. They also started skipping seasons if a Sentai is too strange or features toys that won't do well in America. So Toei and Bandai lost out of money from Zyuohger, Loot and Pat Ranger, Kiramager, and so on. Tokyuger, they probably did get the licensing fee when they used the Shadowline villains in later PR seasons. And having the shows broken up into 2 seasons was also pretty bad. The toy line doesn't have enough stuff to release for 2 years. It's why they created all those different suit modes to expand the figure line, but that only goes so far. Bandai America did do some good things. They were selling some of the SH figure arts. They also sold the Japanese versions of Shinkano and Gosei Great, but because Goseiger wasn't cared about, that didn't sell well, so Bandai stopped selling the Japanese versions. While the Legacy line was mostly good, some decisions were stupid. They sold the Gold Zeonizer as a Comic-Con exclusive. The Ninjetti coins were released so late and should have been included with Tommy's Morpher. Then you had all the Ranger key problems, from exclusive to never selling an entire team set. Then you had bizarre decisions like releasing the Lion Forge Resort from a season that wasn't good. They enlarged it from its Japanese counterpart. They didn't learn anything from Overdrive. It had less paint applications. It cost as much as Shinkano, which looked better, had more functions and features. Then they had the 2017 movie where the designs were bizarre. The Megazord looked more like it belonged in Transformers. Another problem is that kids were getting less and less toys. It's cheaper to go buy an iPad and let them go play a dumb free game. And because Bandai America is making poor quality products, adult collectors didn't want the American products. Don't worry, I'll be talking about Bandai Japan's issues too. These problems built up on Saban and Bandai's side, eventually making Saban sell PR to Hasbro. This caused a new problem. Since Hasbro is also a toy company, Bandai lost all the rights to the Power Rangers brand for Western markets. All that money gone. Toei now only gets a licensing fee. Combine that with skipping several seasons, they got even less money from the final 5 years. Hasbro also caused issues with their Lightning line. Then there's also another problem building up. The sales from the Bandai Japan side had been slipping. There's articles out there that suggested that adult collectors are the reason this is happening. No, because Kamen Rider sales are doing good with both the kid and adult lines. My theory is that they got greedy. What do I mean? Let's look at Sentai when they first started season gimmicks all the way back in 2002 with Hurricaneger. They created the Katakuri Ball system. Now, with a few exceptions, you were able to get the majority of the KBs by buying the packs or the Robos. The Shinobi medals came with the balls. You didn't have to buy them separate. They also didn't make many of them. You were able to afford basically everything. The next one was Aba Ranger. The head plates came with each of the dinos. They came with the changers. Again, you can get them easily. Deca Ranger, Maji Ranger, and Bokanger skip gimmicks. Go Ranger brought them back, but this is the start where it became annoying. Now to get all the engine souls, you had to buy things you may not want. Bear RV and Busan souls came with the weapons. There were many other souls that were in limited sets. Others were made for candy releases. It started becoming complicated and annoying. This continued into Shinkenger with its hidden discs, Goseiger's cards, and the most egregious, Gokaiger. There's different versions of Ranger key types, the ones that are fully painted. The other is the candy where you have to put stickers on. Not all seasons got complete sets. Then you had to get so many versions of the Mobiritz that supported the keys. They also kept releasing new keys for the later seasons. They even released Kamen Rider keys. It became so much, I got sick and tired of the keys. Then you had the SH Figuarts line. Remember when they first started? Japan released a load of figures. The US also released several, but they started doing way too many, or they forced you to buy a double pack. It was an overload of so much stuff, so when they got to Bokenger, on top of Overdrive being a bad season, that was the first time they didn't finish a team. Obviously caused a domino effect. They never released Shurikenger. I didn't bother getting Hurricane Red because of that. They also abandoned a ton of other seasons that they had showed off. You couldn't trust if they were gonna finish a team, so more people would stop buying it, and it eventually fell apart. With the Ranger Key success, virtually all future seasons kept increasing the gimmicks, with one exception being Go Busters, but even Hasbro put in a gimmick with their own keys. Toruger had so many batteries, Tokuger all the trains, Rule Soldier had keys again, Ninja had the discs. It's too much stuff. I stopped buying Super Sentai stuff with Ninja. I got tired of the gimmicks. I'm still not done. In the articles, they interviewed some of the companies. They mentioned that toy sales were down because of Sentai being more of the same. It's been running for so long, seasons got boring. That's why they started doing different things like Dawn Brothers, the Loot and Pat Rangers, Zenkaiger's Robot Rangers. Also, you have the problem with Japan's population decline. Less kids are watching Super Sentai. So with all these Japanese issues, plus the greediness of Bandai and Toei doing all these gimmicks, on top of America stopping its connection to Sentai, a lot of money was lost over time, and so they decided to end the series. I personally think it's a good call. This happened with Kamen Rider 2. It ran from the mid-70s all the way up to the 90s with the Kamen Rider J movie. Then it came back with Kamen Rider Kuga in 2000. There was a chunk of time where Kamen Rider was paused. Sentai has been running for 50 years. Every season has done everything by the book. It's always been roughly the same thing. You expected the same thing. And then with all the toys constantly making you, there's this gimmick, there's that gimmick, there's too many things to buy, so I could easily see loads of people being burnt out. The company has said they expect the Sentai to remain paused for at least a decade. I don't think that's a big deal. We have thousands of episodes and movies to watch. The break can also help with certain rights issues because there has to be something going on between Hasbro and Toei when it comes to Sentai being released in the US. Having this break may end those contract issues, making it easier for Sentai to come here. Again, this is all a guess, but when Ultraman, who's a smaller franchise in the US, can get Blu-ray and DVD releases of nearly every show, while in the same time frame, it took so many years to just get 3 more DVD seasons of Sentai out, something's wrong somewhere. Does it suck that Sentai is ending? Of course. But it will give them time to come up with new ideas. The show will be off for a while, so fans will eventually want it again. Hopefully, when it comes to the toy line, they can get a better balance. Even while the show's off the air, Bandai's going to keep releasing stuff. They have the Super Mini Plus sets, the Memorial sets, for example. They can go back and make more of the older stuff. I would love to have a full-size Seijuken from Gigaman. They could also make improved versions of other Robos. Say a fully motorized King Pyramider that has lights to simulate its energy attack, sound effects. They could do all kinds of things. Sentai doesn't have to be totally dormant. They could still do anniversary movies. I wouldn't worry about it. Sentai's a cultural staple to Japan. It's gonna come back. There's a lot of themes they could still do. I'm still waiting for a season that pulls from Greek mythology, Rangers that have powers from Zeus, Poseidon, Amazons, Ares, Titans. Kamen Rider took a break, and look where it's now. Everyone's to blame to some degree. You shouldn't just pile it all on just Hasbro. Thanks for watching. If you have a topic or suggestion you'd like me to do, leave a comment down below, and I may use it next time.